Hello, everyone, and welcome to The Rundown, where we talk about 2A news and conservative views. I will be your host today, Craig DeLuz, coming at you from the West Coast, the left coast, behind the Iron Curtain, otherwise known as the Sierras, from the state, better known as California. But as we all know, I do not do this program by myself.
Nope, my name is Mike Piroworski. I am your co-host from the East Coast. It's the coast with the most, with the co-host with the most here on The Rundown. 2A news, conservative views, and Craig, how's your day been so far?
It has been good because guess what, Mike? It's Taco Tuesday.
It's raining tacos from out of the sky. Tacos, no need to ask why. Just open your mouth and close your eyes. It's raining tacos. It's raining tacos. Out in the street, tacos, all you can eat, lettuce and shells, cheese and meat. It's raining tacos, yum, 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 yummity, yum. It's like a treat.
That's right, folks. It is raining tacos, and that is why we love Taco Tuesday so much. So yes, Mike, my Taco Tuesday is going well so far.
You know what I had for breakfast this morning, Craig?
What did you have? Did you have a breakfast taco?
I didn't have a breakfast taco. I had a taco. I had a leftover Monday taco, and it was awesome.
Well, that's really what the best breakfast tacos are, is leftover tacos.
But, well, you know, because you can make tacos. We make sometimes like scrambled egg tacos, and you make like, here, here's a taco.
Yes.
There's a egg taco. Yeah.
Been there, done that. Very much enjoyed them.
Yep.
Very much enjoyed them. Good
Yep.
stuff. Good stuff. How was your day going thus far?
Long day. It was a late day yesterday, late night, early morning this morning, worked the whole day, and now here with you at and all the folks. I guess it's really not that long. It's only 2 p.m. there, so I guess I've still got some time left. So
There you go. Wherever you still have time to party, just pick that as your time zone.
Oh, party! I know. I was actually did work, but
he's like, I got more work to do.
yeah. Yeah.
Well, I hear you. Well, my day usually starts at 5 a.m. out here in the Pacific. So actually, it's kind of funny because that's where I get my me time in the morning, because nobody else is stupid enough to be awake that early.
You see, now I figure everybody in California gets up at 5 in the morning because we're already at work, you know. Then, and if you don't go to work, you're gonna suck. That maybe that's why California's so the way it's conditioned. It is you're missing 3 or 4 hours out of the workday, Craig. You know, and
No, we just happen to go. We just happen to go a little later when you guys are wrapping it all up at 2 p.m. Right? We're still working till 5 or 6.
Yeah. Everybody knows when the boss goes home at 5 and you say, I'm going to stay and work late.
Yeah,
you're just there for 2-3
but the
hours.
boss ain't on the East Coast though. Just saying.
Oh, yeah, he is. Yeah, he is.
No, because the boss is right here. My boss is right here. So, my boss is not on the East Coast.
Yes.
What are the advantages of working for yourself?
No, you are totally your own boss. That's it. It's just after 5, what there's no work to be done. We've shut down the East Coast, so you guys are just eating off the clock. That's all.
Well, why don't you go ahead, Mike, and since you the man, why don't you go ahead and give a quick shout out to our sponsors?
I never said I was a man. I just said I was on the East Coast. That's all. Let's say hello to our good friends over at Hitman Industries at hitmanindustries.net, hitmanindustries.net. You got yourself an AR. Odds are you might have one of their barrels already. Well, now they're selling direct to the public. You can get one for your own build or replace the one in your rifle. It's hitmanindustries.net, hitmanindustries.net. Let's say hello to our good friends over at the California Republican Assembly, fighting a good fight behind enemy lines. Make sure you visit them and say hi with your wallet. And then, of course, if you want some awesome tactical gear, go to uscombatgear.com.
That's right, folks. These are our sponsors. These are the folks who make it possible for us to come to you. So do us a favor. Why don't you go to them? All you got to do is follow their links in the description to this program. Check them out. If you like what you see, and I know you will, spend some money with them, and make sure you tell them that the guys over at The Rundown sent you. Also want to remind you, if you haven't already done so, like, share, subscribe, and encourage your friends to do the same. please do so, because we're fighting the algorithms, folks. We know that Facebook and Google and YouTube and all these folks, they don't want you to hear from us, right? They don't want us talking about the stuff we talk about. So we know that they're not sharing our program with other people. So we count on you to share it. So share it with your friends. Tell them this is the place to get both 2A news as well as talk about news with conservative views.
That's right. Right here. Do it.
Do it. Do it now. All right, let's move into our first topic of the day. A victory of sorts for free speech has occurred. Texas had passed a law that basically said it was HB 20? Yes, HB 20. And this bill basically it put restrictions on big tech companies and their ability to be able to control, to be able to censor what folks are able to say, or what political speech that people are able to have on their platforms. And needless to say, they wound up going to court over it. And a court there in Texas has ruled, a federal court, by the way, has ruled that no, big tech does not have a freewheeling First Amendment right to censor. Now, the important thing about this is a big win, because this is basically saying no, especially when it comes to political speech, you don't get to just decide what you are going to allow and what you aren't going to allow and just call it free speech. But now what they did note in this article is that another circuit in Florida actually ruled the opposite way regarding a law in Florida. Now, I don't know if the law in Florida was different than this particular one, but in essence, what may wind up happening now is there's a greater likelihood that we're going to see this go to the Supreme Court, since two different circuits on this basic topic have ruled in opposite directions.
Yeah, the one in Florida was very similar to the one in Texas. Really not much difference to it. The big difference was liberal judge in Florida got a hold of it and said, no, can't do this. So great. It's good news that we have competing circuits now, which makes it eligible for a review by the Supreme Court.
And it's funny because it's folks on the left seem to think that is a good thing for them. I'm like, do you not know the makeup of the Supreme Court? And once again, I believe when it comes down to it, I believe that they will judge according to the Constitution. But I think we need to be very, very careful about these corporatists. In essence, what has happened, and we're finding more and more, and I'm hoping it comes out in these lawsuits, in some of these arguments, that you in essence have big tech coordinating with government, and they're literally doing the bidding of the Biden administration. Is what's happening. Is the Biden administration is coming to them and saying, don't allow this speech, and then they are thus not allowing that speech. That is censorship, no matter how you look at it. Even though they are a private company, when you start colluding with government to censor speech, it is government infringement on the First Amendment right.
Yeah, listen, and again, I've said this before, and I don't buy the whole, we're a private company, we can do what we want. Okay, the New York Times is a private company. Are they allowed to censor, First Amendment speech? No, they still have to be truthful. They're subject to libel. They're subject to slander, the same way anybody else is. And you can't go out and do like what the Meta people, the Facebook, the Twitter, and what they're doing. I mean, Craig, without the government's involvement in it, you could look at them and go, wow, there's a whole lot of one-sidedness going on here. Let's see, where's the counterpoint? No. Oh, it's false information. It says the counterpoint is false information has been covered up. It's a load of crap. This has become, the virtual town square. You cannot censor that. Hold on. You cannot discriminate that. You can censor for, we know there's some things that the Supreme Court can censor for, but, just for public, for free speech, for politics, no, you can't. You can't do that.
And once again, we know that is what's happening. There's more documents from various lawsuits that are revealing that this is in fact the case, as whistleblowers are coming out from all of the companies. There's whistleblowers from Twitter, from Facebook, from Google, who are all admitting that the algorithms are in fact biased against conservative or liberty-minded content.
Yep, very true.
Yeah,
All
they are going to be held accountable. Speaking of being held accountable, Mike, it was funny when I first got a chance to see or hear Newsom come out and comment about what Ron DeSantis is doing and what other border states are doing when it comes to immigration and basically busing or sending immigrants to other places, right? Because I knew about this program and I kept trying to find some info on it, and I'm glad somebody finally reported on it. But Newsom, when he was mayor of San Francisco, he took a pretty big beating from some homeless advocates there in San Francisco because he was busing homeless people. He bused thousands of homeless people from the city of San Francisco to other places in the state. So in other words, in order to get homeless people out of San Francisco, he was sending them to other states, but he wasn't doing it as a political statement. He just wanted them out of San Francisco. It seems like a bit of hypocrisy when you use words like it is heartless and it is cruel, and yet you did the exact same thing. And by the way, you didn't do it to people who entered the country illegally. You did it to people who were legally residing in your city.
Yeah. Listen, this guy's a hypocrite. We know that. And again, it doesn't matter what he's done. It doesn't matter what he said. It's all about in the moment now for how do I say bad things about Republicans? How do I say bad things about conservatives? Because again, as we said yesterday, the entire platform for the liberal elite, the liberal party, it's been this way for a couple of years now, is not to have their own policies. It's to point across and go, that guy's wrong. That guy's mean. Look at DeSantis. He did things wrong. And here it is, proof that Newsom did it himself. But when he did it, Craig, it was okay. It was okay because, it was for the children.
Well, Mike, what's hilarious about it is, here's what's funny. So, actually now there's actually a Democrat sheriff in Texas who is now investigating DeSantis for sending immigrants to Martha's Vineyard. Now check this out, Mike. So in other words, they put him on a plane in Texas, sent them to Florida, and now he's trying to investigate DeSantis for doing something in Florida. For doing, by the way, the exact same thing that he did, that the federal government did in sending them to Florida. How idiotic is that?
Well, listen, once again, it's a Democrat, right? They have no problem wasting the money they have, the constituents' money, the taxpayers' money. It's their money to do what they want. You have to give it to them. They're going to spend it however they want to.
Well, and their goal, quite frankly, both the sheriff and Gavin Newsom, is this. They want to get in the news. And that's it. All Gavin Newsom cares about is getting in the news. He doesn't care if the policy he implements or he wants to institute actually works. He wants to know, is this going to get me in the press? Is this going to get me in the press?
Yeah.
This is the reason why he's going after DeSantis is because he's trying to look like he's doing something. Right now, DeSantis is in the conversation when it comes to President of the United States, and nobody is talking about Gavin Newsom except to talk about what a bonehead he is.
That's true.
They are talking about Gavin Newsom when it comes to the fact that we have the highest percentage of homeless people in the entire country. They are talking about Gavin Newsom when they talk about we have the worst schools in the entire country. They are talking about Gavin Newsom when you talk about we have the greatest wealth inequity, if you want to call it, income distribution, whatever you want to call it, the widest income distribution of anybody in the entire country. And also they're talking about him because businesses are leaving the state in droves. That's why they're talking about Gavin Newsom. And so he wants to change the narrative and say, hey, come to California, we'll give you a sex change. Yeah.
Come to California. We got more room now. Everybody's leaving.
I'm just, I keep wondering when California voters, if ever, are going to wake up. I'm ceasing to believe. I'm believing now more and more that until the lights are like off for like a week, then people will wake up and be like, maybe this whole idea of having Democrats run things is a bad idea.
It's like I think you're right. Once the lights go off, or Craig, when the checks stop showing up in the mail, because California is the biggest state for buying votes. Everybody gets a check. Everybody gets a check.
Everybody. Well, shit, I didn't get a check.
Well, that's because you got the wrong letter next to your name. So
Well, there you go. I work. I actually work is the problem.
that's right. You better keep working, Craig, because those people in your state need your money.
Yes, they do. All right, moving right along, Mike. You heard about the axe attacker in the guy who in New York decided he got into a fight with some folks and decided to pull out an axe. Well, he was released without bail in New York City. Now, I found this to be a little hinky, right? I'm like, wait a minute. Okay, how did this dude get released without bail? And, you got to figure, okay, did this guy just randomly walk into the store and start attacking people with an axe? And it turns out he didn't. So I want to share this story that was run there in New York about the guy and what happened. And you tell me, Mike, if you think him being released on bail is a big deal or not.
Okay.
Now to an Eyewitness News exclusive. A man who went on a wild fast food rampage with a hatchet speaks out. The shocking attack happened inside a McDonald's on the Lower East Side. Thankfully, no one was seriously hurt. The man with the hatchet explained his actions to Eyewitness News reporter Kimberly Richardson.
Kind of waited for them to finish doing whatever they were doing, and then I just did what I wanted to do.
Pulled out a hatchet to teach them a lesson. In this exclusive interview, Michael Palacio tells me he has zero regrets for doing this Friday morning.
The most important thing is don't be afraid to defend yourself.
Michael tells me things went south at this McDonald's on Delancey Street after a security guard ignored his request to use the bathroom. He maintains words were exchanged with the customer. Then things escalated. Michael, he admits he had been drinking, threw a punch. There was plenty of pushing and shoving with three men who then turned on him. Video shows Michael on the receiving end of blows to the head. He tells me he has been jumped before and had had enough. He calmly pulled that hatchet out and police say started menacing people, smashed a glass wall, and slapped one of his attackers.
My intentions were not to hurt anyone. My intentions were not to put anyone in a hospital or dice anybody up. The reason why I pulled out the hatchet was because, okay, I'm going to get back at these guys, but I'm going to make sure that they don't jump me again.
It's not clear if police are looking for the three men, but Michael tells me he's not interested in pressing charges.
You don't need to be in jail to learn a lesson. I hope that the fear they felt that night is enough to never assault someone again.
So why did Michael have a hatchet in his bag to begin with? He's a messenger and tells me he just feels safer carrying it.
I'm always out there on the road.
All right. So, first of all, dude was drunk. So we're going to say issue number one. Issue number two, he got into an argument with people and with the security guard or whatever. We got a far argument with those guys, and he threw the first punch. Now, mind you, three guys jumped him. Although, quite frankly, it didn't look like they were doing a lot of damage to him, did it?
Yeah, that's some high-speed punching going on right there. Great, good to go, guys. Good to go.
And then he
Craig,
pulls the
listen,
hatchet and proceeds to go off.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I'm sorry. Dude should not be out on bail. I mean, she should not be out without no bail.
He should be in there on bail, or excuse me, he should be in there. They should give him bail or bond if he wants to and let him make it. But yeah, he should be in jail. He should be in jail. I was defending myself. He's rather confident about his self-defense plan. You can't put yourself in the situation where others are trying to keep the peace, and when you resist, then claim self-defense. You were drunk, Craig. You said that. He was. They asked him to leave. He was trespassing at that point, and then he struck first, and the others, with their weak cartoon style punches, tried to hold him, and it didn't work. You are the suspect. You are the criminal. You've committed the criminal act because they've hit you. You know what? They were hitting you back after you hit them. That's what you do when somebody hits you. You hit them back. You could try to make them stop hitting you. Now, those were not law enforcement officers. One of them, I think, was the security guard, if I recall correctly, saw the video right. So he had all the right in the world to be hitting you after you hit him. All right, that's his job. You should be in jail, you hatchet wielding idiot.
I will at least say this. At least because at least there is some context, and the dude was not just a crazy hatchet man. There's he was a drunk. Okay.
Yeah.
He was in a fight and he was losing. Well, I don't know if saying he was losing is accurate, because like I said, they looked like they were.
Yep.
They didn't look like they were doing much to him. He was just kind of sitting there like.
They did not. They did not. Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
I get to the point where he pulled it. Now, once he started swinging it and started breaking things and started menacing people with it, I would have taken it out and said, "Look, y'all need to stop."
Yeah. Yep. Right. But at that point, now you know what you've done. Now you're an armed trespasser, because they've already told you to leave and you've already started a fight. Now you've gone into the felony realm.
Well, the other thing is, they actually, now that I think about it, they actually had stopped. That's how he had time to get to his his bag. What it was he was angry because they were beating him.
That's it. You know what they call it when you stop and there's no more threat and then you arm yourself? You know what they call that?
What?
Premeditation. That's premeditation. All right.
Well, there you go. It wasn't very pre, but it was still pre. So you are correct.
Exactly.
You are correct. You are correct. But this is what happens. This is the sort of instances. And by the way, there are tons of cases where people who in this, as odd as this is to say, who have less justification than he did for what they did, and are out of jail without bail.
Yes. Absolutely.
Well, if nothing else, you know what? At least we know New York is New York.
Yep. It's a place so strange you got to say its name twice.
Yes, you do. All right, Mike. This next one once again goes back to our whole. We all know that most of the stuff that's out there about ghost guns are in fact myths. And so Dean Weingarten over at Amoland, by the way, Dean is probably one of my favorite writers over there, because he comes up with all sorts of data, information, and facts that others don't. But anyway, so he is reporting they recently destroyed a data gun disposal. And every year, once a year, they put out a list of all the firearms that have been disposed of, or that the state has destroyed. Now, on this list of guns, as he notes here, where is it further down? So there were a total of 554 guns were released, right? 554 guns were destroyed. 33 of those guns were did not have serial numbers. Serial numbers were either removed, or they were manufactured before serial numbers were required, or it was a home-built firearm. So, of the 554 guns that were destroyed, Mike, how many of them do you believe were ghost guns?
Well, I see, Craig. I read the story, so it's kind of cheating. But there was 555, and one of them, Craig, was a ghost gun, which left the other 554.
Stand corrected. Thank you.
Yeah, the state of Michigan. In Michigan, if your gun gets seized or it's found or anything like that, all the agencies in there have to send them to the state police, and then the state police posts a list of them every month, and the owners have 30 days to prove they're theirs if they want them back. So this is where they're getting that information from. So this last month ago, 2 months ago, I forget when it was, 555. Like Craig said, they listed 33 as ghost guns until you did a little research and realized 26 of them were made prior to 1968, which means no serial number was required, and you saw that mostly on long guns. And then there was the other 6 of them that had serial numbers removed, and then actual one of the ghost gun polymer kits.
Now, what's also interesting about this whole thing, Mike, is of those guns destroyed, they did not attempt to find any of the guns. All they did was they just posted a list up there, which, by the way, just goes to show the whole gun tracing thing doesn't work. right? The whole idea, if we
Again,
have a
listen-
serial number, we can find the original owner. They're not interested
They
in
don't
finding
care.
the original owner.
They don't care. Interested in destroying your guns. You're exactly right, Craig. It's just further proof that it's a sham. It's a sham. Yep.
Yeah, and so once again, I just find it incredibly interesting that they say they're not interested in gun confiscation. They say they want to people to be able to have the right to keep and bear arms. They say they want to put serial numbers on there so that they can identify the original owners of firearms, in particular crime guns. And yet and still, they do absolutely nothing to try and find the original owners of those crime guns. Because as we know, over 90% of guns used in crimes are not in the possession of their actual registered, licensed, however, the person who last purchased it legally, put it that way.
Yeah, don't care. It's all about when they want to destroy your guns and the information they want to keep about you. They don't care. They're not doing any other research. Forget that.
Exactamundo. That is the point exactly. Well, we're going to go ahead and move into our parting shots now. Once again, the Martha's Vineyard story continues to be the gift that keeps on giving. We'll start with this one right here. Martha's Vineyard resident calls to report a Hispanic in the neighborhood not operating a leaf blower. You gotta love the Babylon Bee.
There's this guy. He's outside. He's the guy. He's outside. Yep.
You have got to love the Babylon Bee. They are the best. And then finally, it's got Forrest Gump here saying, and just like that, sanctuary cities don't want to be sanctuary cities no more.
That's it. You don't need a box of chocolates to figure that one out.
Well, it's funny because, like, once again, you look at places like New York and Washington, D.C., who've declared states of emergency. By the way, you know what they're doing in New York now? They're talking about putting them on a cruise ship. They're actually putting together a plan to basically remove the illegal immigrants who've been sent there, to remove them from New York City, the sanctuary city.
And once you put them on a cruise ship, Craig, they can't get back off because they don't have documentation to come through the port.
Well, there you go. But anyway, so the point is that all these places that are talking about how accepting we need to be of those who've crossed our borders illegally are not being very accepting of those who have crossed our borders illegally.
Nope. Listen, Chicago sent them out of town. D.C. called the National Guard on them. New York's putting them on a cruise ship. And in Martha's Vineyard, they sent them to the military base. Load them up. Get them out of here.
Call the National Guard. Was it 300 National Guardsmen for 50 immigrants?
Yep.
And by the way, they are the tolerant party. They are the ones who are accepting of people of different cultures who have entered our country through our southern border without documentation.
That's right. That's it.
Funny how that works.
Very much. Yep.
All right, Michael, it's about that time. Why don't we go ahead and give a quick, once again, shout out to our sponsors.
Let's do it. Don't forget to visit our friends over at Hitman Industries, hitmanindustries.net, hitmanindustries.net. Get yourself all your barrel needs taken care of. California Republican Assembly. Reach out to them. They're fighting a good fight out there in California land. And then, of course, if you need some awesome tactical gear, go to uscombatgear.com.
Folks, once again, please make sure, visit our sponsors, let them know that we sent you, and make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Tell your friends about us. You know, that first story that we did today, that's because they're censoring us. They're censoring us. They're censoring folks who talk like us, who think like us. I know they're censoring you because I know at least half of y'all have been in Facebook jail more than once. So do us a favor. Let your friends know about the rundown. Tell them to subscribe. Tell them to like it. And tell them to share it as well. With that, we're going to call it a day, and we will be back tomorrow on Hump Day.